this lockdown that we are in the midst of, a historic one, has become a playground of sorts for unethical hackers, and cybercrime in the midst of this has surged. I read a report that between the 4 weeks of March and April, there was an 86% surge in cybercrime. We are not just talking about money related, where you've been extortioned or blackmailed or been sent emails, but even for that matter, ATM cards. Remember, we had that whole issue where a prominent bank's ATM cards, the details were divulged, they were compromised. So let's bring on board cybercrime expert and consultant Ritesh Bhatia. Ritesh, always a pleasure having you with us on ET Now. I suppose when, you know what they say, right? An idle mind is the devil's workshop. And as we are in the midst of the lockdown, Indians have been spending more time on the internet. And this is something that has thrown open the arena for hackers, for cyber criminals. What have you been observing? What sort of calls have you been getting? What sort of cybercrime are you witnessing today?
Oh, well, Mobina, it's always a pleasure to be on ET Now. Thank you so much. So yes, I have been terribly busy getting calls even at like night at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock and all that. And it's crazy. Since you started with the debit cards and credit cards, let me tell you, yes, that's on the rise again, because, what is happening is now, since the lockdown is there, the fraudsters are getting an opportunity to put the skimmers on the ATMs. So, in case if you have to use the ATM, again, you have to be extremely mindful whether there's a skimmer on the ATM or not. So just try to shake that, the slot wherein you dip your debit card, just try to shake that. If it just comes out easily, that means there was a skimmer over there, and avoid that particular ATM. Secondly, again related to the debit and the credit card thing, please disable your international transactions. I'm sure you're not buying anything international, neither you're going international, nothing of those sorts. Because for international transactions, for most of the merchants, you really don't need an OTP or the PIN. All they need is your CVV and the 16-digit number and expiry date and all. So it's better that you please disable your international transactions. Thirdly, Mobina, a lot of sextortion scams are coming, and that's really worrying a lot many people. The modus operandi is very simple. You get an email. In the email, there is a password of yours, and the email says, "Look, we saw you watching pornography, and that is how we recorded you," and other things. So please pay us this kind of money in the bitcoins, otherwise we'll make it viral or we'll put it up on the YouTube. So guys, please understand, there's nothing like that has happened. They don't have any video of yours. Now, this password that they're showing you is actually from some breached database, something like, for example, a particular website which you would have used, and the password was breached over there. So they have just, got together all that data and they're selling it on the dark web. So really don't worry about it. Yes, but if that is a password that you're still using, I genuinely appeal to you, please go and change that password. So Bombina, in short, these things are happening, but something that's another thing, besides the bullying and the stalking and these extortion scams, let me tell you about money related. A lot of KYC scams are happening. So bank people pretending to be calling from the bank, and they're targeting the senior citizens, saying that, okay, your account is going to be disabled because there's no KYC, you cannot come to the bank and all, so you'll have to do it over the phone. And the customers, they fall into this trap, and they reveal or they give out their debit card details or credit card details. And that's how I just had a client yesterday who called me. He lost 80,000 rupees. And so there are many like these who have lost lakhs of rupees and thousands of rupees. So please keep one thing in mind: you cannot share your details. No bank is anytime going to ask you for your debit or credit card details or even a UPI PIN. So these are as far as the banking things are concerned, Mubina.
Okay, very interesting. I think a very valuable tip as well that you've given is that if your card essentially gets stuck in the ATM machine and you're not able to pull it out very easily, there is a possibility of there being a skimmer in that card, which means do not enter your PIN, do not proceed any further, simply leave that ATM, go across to another ATM. This is a very valuable advice. If you get any emails that, sort of disclose your own password to you, don't fret about that either. By the way, Ritesh, just I think in the last 12-13 hours, we have yet another app, that's Truecaller, that essentially has seen its app being breached. So again, passwords, etc., being leaked over there, being sold on the dark web. So yes, I suppose this has become quite common, where passwords and transaction details are being sold on the dark web. Ritesh, another very sorry state of affairs is being thrown up when these hackers have been posing as being contributors to the PM Cares Fund, which essentially has been set up for coronavirus, for tackling with the coronavirus. I understand that there are certain websites that essentially say that, look, we are going to be donating money to the PM Cares Fund, so give us your money, or for that matter, they simply pose as a website for donating to the PM Cares Fund. So Ritesh, how can an individual who wants to legitimately donate to the PM Cares Fund distinguish between a fake website and a legitimate website?
So, Mobina, firstly, I would want to just, correct you for the ATM fraud thing. Okay, when I said, it's not about the card. The card will easily go inside and outside. I was talking about the slot, the cavity kind of a thing. You have wherein you dip your card. I'm talking about that particular part. That if it is shaking a little, or if you see some glue around it, then don't use that ATM. Now, coming to the PM Cares thing, I think by now many people have already made the donations. Few of them have got duped also, but the ones who really want to make it again, they might as well use the Arogya Setu app, or they go to the mygov.in, to the official website. You Google it, and the official website which is there, you go over there and make the payment. Don't please click on links which are coming via emails. And I would say this not only for PM Cares, I would say this for any kind of payment or any kind of donation, because a lot of donation scams are also happening. So wherein they send you a link, when you're going to click over there, what will happen is it will take you to a page. Now, this is what we call as phishing. It's like a look-alike page, and there you enter all your credit debit card details or the UPI pin and things like that, and there you lose a lot of money. Now, since we are talking about these kind of frauds, so to the citizens and to the consumers, all the viewers, I would want to tell you, the other thing is about the helpline listing fraud. So what's a helpline listing fraud? Let's say you ordered some groceries or something else. It could be liquor, it could be groceries, it could be medicines, and now you want to contact them. So you go to Google and you try to search their number. The number that you get may not be the real number. So please ensure that you're dialing up a number which is given on the app. It's always best to use the app and contact them, or you go to the website and go to the contact page of that particular website and talk to them, because the fraudsters have been able to change the numbers on the listing pages, the Google My Business listing pages. And when you are asking for something, let's say, you are asking for something that has not been delivered, and you think you're talking to that particular provider, but you are not actually. It's the fraudster. So be extremely careful of these frauds. There are many more that are happening, especially related to KYC and right now, there's a lot of noise about income tax refunds, that these refunds have to be made very quickly. So suddenly we are getting a lot of emails saying that your refund has been processed, please click over here. The moment you click over there, either there can be a malware, which is like a virus that you people call it. We call it as like a malware which can get installed on your computer. Or second, it might take you to a link wherein it will ask you for a lot many details. And there again, to a link wherein it will ask you for.
Right. Ritesh, you know what? I think you've largely covered quite a few points, but there's one point I definitely want to ask you before we run out of time, and that is the vulnerabilities that are arising because of remote working. Many companies have transitioned towards remote working models very quickly. If you could just give some actionable tips to our viewers, all those who are working from home, what should they be careful of, because their home network may not be as secure as the office network?
Yeah, so very quickly, number one, change your Wi-Fi password. Make sure the Wi-Fi that you're using, you're not using the default username and password which you require to set up your router. So ensure that itself is also changed. Ensure you have a very strong password. Third, and the most important point is, please don't use your work, the work machine, the laptop or the desktop for your family also. Make sure that your family people are not using the same thing. Keep it restricted strictly for official purposes. Lastly, I would say do not click on any link, because right now the only security you would be having an antivirus, and I hope you have one. If you don't have one, pay it from your personal this thing. It just costs 300 rupees. Just download it, install it, 500 rupees, just install it and make sure to run it every day. So if you take care of these small 4-5 basic things also, you're good to go as far as work from home is concerned.
Simple, actionable tips that everybody can do. You do not need to be a tech expert to be able to implement this. Thanks so much, Ritesh, for joining us. It's always great, to get in your take on this whole cybercrime bit. Like I mentioned, right, it's become and it's throwing up a lot of opportunities for cyber scammers to essentially prey on individuals and sort of indulge in extortionist activities, which have been on the rise. Like I mentioned, Kerala, in fact, is one state which has seen a massive surge in cybercrime.